So according to Vegas or the betting public,
Mel,
trading Deandre Ayton made them better.
Is that better? Those are better odds right there, Mel?
Did I not give you the mathematical answer you wanted? Or are you just trying to anger
No,
our
I'm just
producer?
trying to, of course.
Yeah. Just because there's no wolfing down your lunch today,
Mel,
you don't think she can get to you?
No comment on that, Mel, whatsoever? Are those better odds?
This is going to be ugly.
No comment. I had a huge weekend.
Oh, my gosh. There was one time, seriously, Basinonians, one time in my life where I said no comment. The only time I ever said no comment was after Bernie Kosar got cut. It was the only time I ever said no comments because I had no idea what was happening. As I drove into the facility and got out of my car, all of these people in Berea, Ohio, everybody was there. It was an absolute zoo. They ran. There had to be, I want to say, no exaggeration, 60 people with cameras
Is that
and
all of
microphones.
Berea, Ohio?
Yes,
Wow.
running at me because Bernie Kosar was cut, and I didn't know he was cut. Does this surprise you that I was the last guy to actually turn his radio on and figure it out that Bernie Kosar was cut? And all of a sudden, I said no comment as soon as I heard, Rod, what do you think, Wolf, about Bernie Kosar being let go? What? I just said
no comment is better than
by.
what?
Okay, where are we going in this beautiful part of the program
No
before
comment.
you said no comment?
This is my new goal now, is to get you to say no comment on the show as often as possible.
Yes.
No, look, I mean, the Deandre Ayton era is over. When this happened, when the trade happened yesterday, we weren't even expecting to still be doing the show because the Diamondbacks game had started. We were covering it live, carrying it live, which we're going to be doing today, by the way, at 11 o'clock, unless DA gets traded back to the Suns.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking is probably not going to happen. So we reacted in real time, but now you've had almost 24 hours, and we all have. I mean, we got some great calls yesterday, and there's a lot of conflicted fans on this because it's complicated, but it isn't, Wolf, because this to me is why I think we're conflicted on it, and why I think a lot of Suns fans are conflicted on it. You traded away the bad version of DA, and you had to get that guy off the team. But you also traded away the good version of DA, and you had to have that guy on the team. You were like, there's no way you're going to just feel great about it or horrible about it today if you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah, though, it is a step in the new direction for the Phoenix Suns. And I kind of like this direction right here because what I think it means. Look, DA, when he would go out there and you would see a lack of effort from Deandre Ayton, the most talented guy, maybe? Really, seriously, think about his length. Think about his athleticism. Think about his height. He's got a 40-inch vertical, ladies and gentlemen. A 40-inch vertical for a man who's a legit 7-footer. He's long, and yet he'll dunk the ball. We're screaming at him to dunk the ball and do it with force. See, this is what he did. He got everybody emotional around him. He brought that out of everybody.
Except
that right?
him.
Isn't that right, Devin Booker?
He brought it out of everybody around him.
Everybody around him. He brought it out of them, but not himself.
Not consistently enough. Now, what I'm wondering is, when are we going to know? Look, as I keep saying, I think this was inevitable, so I'm glad they did it before the season started. I didn't want this dragging into the season if you were going to trade him in January or whatever. But when are we going to know? When are people going to feel comfortable that this was the right move in terms of what we see on the floor? Because Deandre Ayton's going to put up better numbers than 18 and 10 in Portland. I would absolutely take that bet. He's going to put up better numbers, but I don't think they're going to be a factor in the West. So do the Suns have to win the title? Do they have to get to the final? I mean, they were already all in on this season either way.
Yeah, I think their expectations, of course, it's to win the title. I think that is going to be their expectation going forward. Frank Vogel, what I love based on earnings, he's trying to build his own culture. He is. I think maybe he wanted a crack at Deandre Ayton. We'll never know, or maybe we will at some point in time. But I think the culture with Frank Vogel includes, among other things, toughness, defense, physicality, physical presence, competitive effort. I think this is what I think Frank Vogel wants to build here around all this hyper talent in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Build a tough culture around that kind of talent and base it on Book. Build it off of him. That's who he is. That's how he goes about his business. The kid, the dude, competes. And he's got all this talent. And he does it on both ends. There's your culture right there. Now bring the guys in that are going to rally around him with a pocket full of goodness.
Well, they got about 48 players for training camp right now, it feels like. So there's going to be some crazy internal competition to fill out that roster when training camp gets going. And what a camp that's going to be. Okay, you've got Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. You want to be on this team with those three guys? And look, like we know Eric Gordon's going to be. We know who some of these guys are. But if you look at their roster, they have more than they can have when the season starts. So it's not just going to be pretty decent players competing for roster spots. It's pretty decent players competing for roster spots on a team that is right now the co-favorites in the West after making that trade yesterday.
Okay, the co-favorites
with Denver
in terms of gambling. Okay, is that right?
However you want to say it.
All right, you ready to go, Luke?
Just saying co-favorites in the
Las
West.
Vegas, Luke. Oh, that's good right there. Look,
You're
I'll
cracking yourself up today.
I am, as a matter of fact. It's because we got an hour show. I got to get it in.
Well, you only got 15 minutes
before I
now.
actually walk out.
Knock on wood.
Okay,
Yeah,
where is that? Okay, start knocking. Look, I believe based on earnings, they lost this trade in the talent trenches. They did when it comes to talent, but won the trade in terms of tenacity, toughness, and team. I think they're a better team today than they were yesterday morning. This is just me. They aren't as talented of a team as they were yesterday, but I think ultimately they're a tougher team, and that'll make them really, really good because they've already got some super high talent.
Yeah, they are one of the few teams in sports that might be able to look at their roster and say, we can do this with less talent. And they're getting other stuff back. But when do you ever see a team in any sport be able to say confidently, we can get rid of a little bit of talent. We have so much. We need these other factors.
Right.